Hello, and step into BioHomes, creating tomorrow's housing solution for today. Our team is Janice Consulting, and my name is Lucia. We have Max, Nikita, and Marcel, and today we will show you how to step into BioHomes. We found the main question of how can New World Build for Good create innovative, new, affordable, and sustainable housing models that will alleviate Hong Kong's housing and land problems and inspire other developers? Understanding the three main challenges that Hong Kong is currently facing: unaffordable housing for young families, shortage of elderly friendly homes, and a lack of infrastructure and jobs in the new territory, we found a solution. Our solution for you is to renovate old offices for new housing options and develop cutting edge houses on the new territories. This will follow a roadmap that can be seen on the right, and the impact is huge, which you can see below. But how did we get here? I will hand it off to Marcel for the insights.
Yes, thank you, Lucia. From your vision statement, we can derive that you are deeply determined to tackle the deep-rooted housing issue that the Hong Kongese housing market is currently facing. And this is also reflecting in your actions. You already introduced subsidized homes, new gen first homes, and innovative social housing, tackling three different sustainable development goals in good health and well-being, sustainable cities, and industry and infrastructure. However, we have to observe that there are multiple outside influences that may show opportunities or threats to your actions. And from the political side of things, we identified that the Hong Kongese government is already considering to relocate their offices to the new territories. And by doing so, jobs would move to new territories, and this would lead to people willing to also move to the new territories. And by that, we can create new housing opportunities for a lot of new people that want to live nearby their new job or their old job when it was moved. From an economic side of things, we identified that the flat prices increased by almost 400% in the last 20 years, which led to a huge discrepancy between the income of families and the house prices. And that led to low and medium tier income families being unable to afford or even pay for their home. From a social side of things, we saw that 41.2% of the elderly are homeowners. However, 1/3 of them lives below the poverty line, also showing that there is not enough affordable house for elderly people. And from a technology side of things, that offers a lot of opportunities with the new modular integrated construction method. By doing so, we can create sustainable houses in an environmental friendly way while being cost efficient, because the construction is done before it's transported to the construction site. And taking this to the next step, we derived our three main key challenges from our takeaways. And Nikita will now take over to introduce our options that want to tackle those key challenges.
Thank you, Marcel. Let's step into the options. We came up with three options derived from our analysis, and I would like to talk about the resettlement program. Basically, we want to offer elderly people a new way of living in rural areas on new territories. It will provide more city housing for young people, and it will provide young elderly people with appealing accommodation. However, it might divide family members, which goes against Hong Kong citizen values. Then let's talk about communal living. We want to offer a platform for people, for elderly people, to rent out their accommodation for the below market price to young people, in exchange for some favors, like walking with a dog or going for the groceries. It will ease everyday life of older generation. However, it might meet unclear demand from both parties. The last but not the least option is occupying offices and developing new territories in the biohomes. We want to repurpose offices into living area, and also we want to build new cutting-edge biohomes in Northern Metropolis area to attract new specialists into this place. It will have a long-term sustainable impact on Hong Kong area, and it will bring new jobs and specialists to this Northern Metropolis area. However, it involves significant capital investments, which should be taken into account. Now let's take a look at our decision metrics. As you can see, offices and new territories are clearly outperform any other option, especially in expanding and developing new territories, which is crucial for the Hong Kong government, and therefore it should be a decision criteria. So now let's talk about our implementation plan. I will give the word to Max.
Thank you, Nikita. As my colleague explained already, our option consists of two parts. First, the reconstruction of offices into homes, and then the building of biocommunal homes in the new territories. How does the implementation of the first option look like? According to Bloomberg, there are 9.1 million square feet vacant office spaces in Hong Kong, which is the highest number since ever and equals to 158 football fields. We suggest that you purchase either whole office buildings in the Hong Kong downtown or floors which are applicable and transform those buildings into 300 and 550 square feet apartments, which then with the goal of providing 50 new housing units within 3 years. On the next slide, I would like to show you a best practice example from the United Kingdom and London. There was, as you can see in the left picture, the old headquarters of British Telecommunications, which is a building of 28,000 square meters, and it was reconstructed into 404 homes, which are all affordable for the citizens. And the costs were actually about 850,000 Hong Kong dollar per housing unit. With this inspiration, we would like to have now a look into the suitable office spaces in Hong Kong. So in Hong Kong, there are different grades for office spaces, and we suggest to tackle the grade B and C buildings because the grade A buildings, which are the prestigious and let's say the very modern office spaces, are actually, they're mostly used and they are very new. On the other hand, the grade B and C buildings, they are more older. They are also more in the Hong Kong Island and Kowloon, so very central, where a lot of young people would like to live, and because they're closer to the work. And we see also in different housing reports that there is a negative take-up rate, meaning less people or less companies are taking up these offices, which also results in higher numbers of open office spaces. On the other hand, we found also out that half of the grade B housings or offices, they are cheaper currently available because many of them require an upgrade or reconstruction. So why not using this opportunity to make homes of it? But of course, it's not that easy. There are certain criteria to consider, especially when transforming offices into new houses and apartments. There needs to be a lot of sunlight. So consider the windows, the location itself, the fire safety conditions and other regulations, which is really important to understand. And we can derive from that each housing project is unique. On the next slide, we want to speak about the target group, about the tenants who will live there. We suggest you to focus on the young families and the young professionals who are in need of affordable housing. In 3 steps, we are actually providing them an opportunity to get access to it and democratizing the way of living in Hong Kong. First of all, we have the application stage where those young professional families can apply. And when they meet a certain criteria, they can have access to these houses or these apartments. Then starts the saving stage. In a saving stage, the young professionals and families receive a rent which is below the average price on the market, which helps you to break even. And on the other hand, brings the young professional family more access into the housing in the downtown. After up to 3 years and savings for the down payment, there will be the buying stage where a mortgage is provided with a 50% discount of the down payment, and which allows then the young professionals and families to transfer from a tenant to a homeowner. And then with, again, 50 new affordable housing within 3 years. On the next slide, I would like to mention a few points which are important to consider. So as already mentioned, each office is unique. And therefore, we suggest to hire 1 full-time designer and 1 full-time employee as a project manager in order to evaluate and assess and find opportunities of new office spaces which can meet the requirements for transferring those offices into homes. It is also very suggested to make opportunities with partners, their current partners like the government, public houses, other developers, or other NGOs in order to utilize the strengths of each other and to co-finance projects. Also, the KPIs are important to consider, and of course, the legal implication. Generally, it is legal to reconstruct those houses, but of course, maybe some geographical laws apply on some certain streets. Now I would like to give the word to Lucia, who will explain the other part of our option.
Yes, thank you very much. On to our long-term strategic solution, building biocommunal homes in the new territory, expanding affordable new and sustainable housing to the new territory for the elderly and low high-income families, creating a communal living space. So how can this be done? By utilizing the trend of MIC, New World for Build Good can build cost-effective and sustainable biocommunal homes. MIC is an effective off-site construction method with many benefits shown to the right. And this will help ease and smooth the transitioning of the logistical process, which is hiring and partnering, tech feasibility, quality control, transportation, and construction. Your end product should be one big apartment building of 15 stories and 6,000 square meters in total, providing multiple new homes for the elderly, low and high income families. Also, the process is building the biocommunal homes is affordable and sustainable by using this method. But now that the construction is done, what does this mean for your communities? Well, the biocommunal homes create shared value for the communities and culture by integrating different types of communities. On the bottom, we have homes for the elderly at a safe and attainable location. Followed is the homes for low-income family, still safe, but maybe not with the most glorious view. And lastly is offices that will be in the middle, which will help encourage relocation of jobs to the new territory, also help encouraging people to work closer to home if in the new territory. And last, at the top, to combine different communities, high-income families will have a sustainable home with a glorious view and linked with a communal rooftop garden. This building in general has many benefits as it's sustainable and affordable, as well as promoting the communal attitude values from the rooftop garden, but also by living together as one another. But where will this be and how will this be communicated? Well, these biocommunal homes are going to be in Hong Kong's future Silicon Valley, Santin Technopole. This has many benefits as it has 50,000 job opportunities, allowing people to work closer to home in the new territories, as well as attractive infrastructure for those that still want to work in the city. They are able to transport easily. As for your communication for all these wonderful benefits, you can utilize your high reputation and really have communication as minimal to reach your target audience of the elderly and low and high income people. From the communication through your website and press releases, you communicate the benefits of affordable and sustainable living. For the high income family specifically, it is imperative to promote the sustainable and nearby nature with the premium view to encourage them to live in communal living. But with this, I now give it over to Nikita to show how all these amazing benefits can be in the timeline.
Thank you, Lucia. Let's take a look at our implementation plan. So for the repurposing offices, we will start in 2023 with market share for new properties and therefore hiring specialists to evaluate those options to see if they accommodate your needs. Then you want to find partners for execution and financing this project. In the mid-2023 comes the construction stage and finding the tenants. And after this, there comes the saving period for tenants. And also in 2026, you have to evaluate the project outcomes to see the results. Then in the mid-2025 comes selling period, which is where you will get the accumulated revenue. Now let's move on to biohouses. So for the first 2.5 years, you have to hire and partner with different companies to make this project real. Then here comes the tech feasibility stage, where you assess this technology to be implemented in your projects. Then comes the quality check, and finally in 2027 construction starts. From 2028, the sales period will start. Now, what about financial implications? Let's take a look at them. As you can see on the right, the financial situation of NWD was quite stable for the past 5 years, and the multi-billion profit will certainly help to execute this project without any problems. If you will take a look at the diagram below, you can clearly see that revenue outperforms the costs in both options. And it's remarkable that revenue for the biocommunal house doubles the initial investment. So this project is financially viable. Let's move on to the risks. I will give the floor to Max.
Thank you very much, Nikita. Of course, you're operating in a housing market or a housing segment, and therefore there are many external risks which can occur. 3 of them are listed here, and I would like to speak about the first one, the rising prices for materials and constructions. For that, we actually suggest to mitigate them by having an agreement with your service providers and the construction companies to share the savings and also the overcharges. This helps, of course, to do great business. On the next slide, we have a small overview about the impact. So not only you will provide new housing opportunities and bring communities together, you also tackle the sustainable development goals. Now I would like to give the final word to my colleague, Lucia.
Thank you. So how can New World build for good, creative, innovative, new, affordable, and sustainable housing models that alleviate Hong Kong's housing and land problems and inspire other developers? Well, it's by stepping into biohomes. Thank you very much.